Welcome, welcome. I am Dr. Angelika Christie, your host of the show, Your Radiant Life After 45, Skills for Healthy, Happy, and Prosperous Women. I believe in a world where women are cherished and thrive because the world needs your light. I help you discover and live your unique gift confidently and with pride. With over 25 years of professional experience as a naturopathic doctor specializing in healthy and dynamic aging, and as a lifestyle and relationship coach, together with my vast personal experience, life experience. Yes, I'm not a, how do they say that, spring chicken anymore? I am 76 years young. But I tell you a little bit more about this, what's going on with me right now. You may see it in my face. But anyway, I share really from my heart and my knowledge. And if this sounds good to you, be my guest here every Saturday, 3 o'clock Eastern time. Yes? Yes, that would be amazing. But you can always have the replays. We have so many amazing women on this platform, Win-Win Women, a platform that is designed for the era of the woman, the era that has already started, and that is really becoming more and more important because we are called upon to stand up, to get out of any slumber. We need to wake up because the time is for us to be heard, to be seen, to be understood. And I believe that women are pillars of a new consciousness and must lead the way. And of course, it starts with this self-development. You have to start with yourself. And there are so many ways of doing it. There's a spiritual way, there is a way of understanding it with your mind. But whatever it is, the female era that is really has started and will develop faster and faster is about the heart, the fiery heart. The female is all about bringing the heart center into the world, into the business world, into everything you actually create, because the heart is the only place that knows the truth, that speaks truth, and it includes, it does not exclude. It is, well, there is so much more to say about the heart, but I guess you understand what I am saying. And let me tell you a little bit about me today. You probably see it in my face. I'm not feeling well at all. I had eye surgery. You see it on my eye there. I can't have any makeup on it. I had eye surgery and I was in the United States for 10 days for that. I came back 2 days ago. And my eye feels all right. It still needs to heal. But what happened to me is I felt so tired and these headaches and the body aches. And my goodness, today I said, I have my live show. How can I feel this way? I better see why I feel this way. So anyway, make a long story short, I do have a COVID test, home test, and I applied it to me today. And yes, I have COVID again. Oh, COVID positive. So, but you see, these are realities. I could say, okay, I cannot do it today, but you know, everything happened so fast. So I couldn't get anybody to jump in for me. I also had nothing prepared that I could just run. So I am real, naked, vulnerable, and tell you how it is. And this is what happens to all of us in our life, right? I mean, we make a commitment for something, and then for you always say, at least I say that, why now? You know, really, why now? Because I just came back with this eye surgery. I'm leaving again for Germany in 9 days. So I have a very short period of time to get well again. And why do I have COVID now? I had it so badly at the very beginning, at the beginning of 2020, badly. I was very, very sick for 3 months, and I still have had lingering things. And what the COVID did then was it triggered a TIA, it triggered a mini stroke, and then it triggered shingles. I had shingles 3 times last year. So I could say, heavens, please, what's going on? I don't need this. And so now I have COVID again. Yes, I was in Florida. In Florida, you don't wear a lot of masks. Everybody is without masks. The last day I thought, oh my God, I want to go in the movie theater and I want to go to the mall. I did that, and that's probably where I picked it up. So I hope I don't get much worse than it is now. I have a little bit of fever and I'm not feeling well, a little congestion, but that's it. The funny thing is, when I did the home test and I kind of took a photo and sent it off in the chat to my family, my youngest son says, oh, Mom, are you pregnant? I said, no. It's that line too, but it's a COVID test. It's not the blue line, it's the red line. So I found that so funny. I mean, at my age, being pregnant, that would be something. But maybe he did that tongue in cheek. So I wanted to continue, just like I said last week. I wanted to continue reading a little bit and discussing something from this book, Anthony de Mello, Awareness. If you can get this, and it is available on Amazon, I would highly recommend it. It is an extraordinary book. You will laugh, you will cry. It's very different from any other book that you probably read. Okay, so today I want to go through 3 different chapters. The first one is called A Changed Person. So here we go, because what I'm reading now, of course, is not my, it's my voice to you, but it's Anthony de Mello speaks to you, because this is his book. In the pursuit of awareness, this is awareness, right? In the pursuit to awareness, and everything starts with awareness. Without awareness, we don't know anything and we can't change anything. Do you agree with me there? In the pursuit of awareness, don't make demands. Interesting, right? It's more like obeying the traffic rules. If you don't observe traffic rules, you pay a penalty. In the United States, you drive on the right side of the road. In England, you drive on the left. In India, you drive on the left. I live in the Bahamas. We drive on the left as well. If you don't drive on the left here or in India or in England, you pay a penalty, right? There is no room for hurt feelings or demands or expectations. Just abide in the traffic rules. Simple, very simple. So you may, Anthony de Mello said, you ask where compassion comes in, where guilt comes in all of this. You'll know when you are awake, then you know where compassion and guilt comes in. If you are feeling guilty right now, for whatever reason, how on earth can I explain it to you? How would you know what compassion is? You know, sometimes people want to imitate something they really, really admire. But, you know, when a monkey plays a saxophone, that doesn't make him a musician, correct? You can't imitate anybody. by imitating his or her external behavior. You have got to be that person. Then you'll know exactly what you do in a particular situation, given your temperament, your character, and the character and temperament of the person you're dealing with. No one has to tell you. But to do that, you must be, for example, of course, he is a Jesuit priest, so he quotes Christ. In order to understand it, you have to be Christ. How do you be Christ, right? An external imitation will get you nowhere. If you think that compassion implies softness, there is no way I can describe compassion to you. Absolutely no way. Because compassion can be very hard. Compassion can be even rude. Compassion can jolt you. Compassion can roll up its sleeves and operate on you. Compassion is all kinds of things. Compassion can be very soft too. But there's no way of knowing that. It's only when you become love. In other words, when you have dropped your illusions and attachments, that you will know. As you identify less and less with the I, you will be more at ease with everybody and with everything. Do you know why? Because you're no longer afraid of being hurt or afraid of being not liked. You no longer desire to impress anyone. Can you imagine the relief when you don't have to impress anyone anymore? Oh, what a relief, happiness at last. You no longer feel the need or the compulsion to explain things anymore. It's all right. What is there to be explained? And you don't feel the need to or compulsion to apologize anymore. I'd rather hear you say, instead of apologizing, say, I've come awake. Then hear you say, maybe I'm sorry, if that's appropriate. I'd much rather hear you say to me, I've come awake since we last met. What I did to you won't happen again. Than to hear you say, I'm so sorry for what I did to you. Why would anyone demand an apology? You have something to explore in that, yes? Even when someone supposedly was mean to you. There is no room, no necessity for apology. Nobody. But you can only really understand that if you understand that deeper reality and wisdom here. Okay, so I go back to reading here. Nobody, Anthony de Mello says, nobody was mean to you, even if you believe somebody was mean to you. Somebody was mean to what he or she thought was you, but not to you. Nobody ever rejects you. They're only rejecting what they think you are. But that cuts both ways, yes? Nobody ever accepts you either. Until people come awake, they are simply accepting or rejecting their image of you. They have fashioned an image of you, and they're rejecting or accepting that image. It's a bit too liberating, but how easy is it to love people when you understand this? How easy is it to love everyone when you don't identify with what they imagine you are or they are? It becomes easy to love them, to love everybody. I observe me, but I do not think about me, because the thinking me, that's a lot of bad thinking too. But when I watch me, I am constantly aware that this is a reflection. In reality, you don't really think of I and me. You're like a person driving a car. He doesn't ever want to lose consciousness of the car. It's all right to daydream, but not to lose consciousness of your surroundings. You must always be alert. It's like a mother sleeping. She doesn't hear the planes roaring above the house, but she hears the slightest whimper of her baby. She's alert. She's awake in that sense. And we women understand this, right? One cannot say anything about the awakened state. One can only talk about the sleeping state. One hints at the awakened state. One cannot say anything about happiness. Happiness cannot be defined. What can be defined is misery. Drop unhappiness and you will know, right? Drop unhappiness and what is left? Happiness. Why? Because we are made of happiness. Happiness is the most natural state. It's the most natural state of a baby. It's our most natural state. Unless we allow it not to be that way. Until we are asleep, until we sleep and don't really understand it. Okay. Awakened state. One cannot say anything about happiness. Happiness cannot be defined. What can be defined as misery? I said that. Drop happiness and you will know. Love cannot be defined. Can you define love? Unlove can. Drop unlove, drop fear, especially fear, and you will know. We want to find out what the awakened person is like, but you will only know when you yourself get there. Am I implying, for example, that we shouldn't make demands on our children? What I said was, you don't have to you don't have a right to make any demands. Sooner or later, that child is going to have to get rid of you, in keeping with the injunction of that our children are not our children. And you're going to have no rights over your children at all. In fact, they really are not your children, and they never were. They belong to life, not to you. No one belongs to you. What you're talking about is the child's education. Yes. If you want lunch, you better come in between 12 and 1 or you don't get lunch, period. That's the way things are around here. You can say to your children, you don't come on time, you don't get your lunch. You're free. That's true, but you must take the consequences. When I talk about not having expectations of others or not making demands of them, I mean expectations and demands for my well-being. The President of the United States obviously has to make demands on people. The traffic policeman obviously has to make demands on people. But these are demands on their behavior, traffic laws, good organization, the smooth running of society. They are not intended to make the president or traffic policeman feel good. Interesting, isn't that interesting? Yeah, think about that. I want to talk about permanent worth. That's another chapter, permanent worth. Anthony de Mello says, to move on another idea, there is a whole matter of one's personal worth. Personal worth doesn't mean self-worth. Isn't that interesting? I always thought that was the same. It isn't. Where do you get self-worth from? Do you get it from success in your work? Do you get it from having a lot of money? Do you get it from attracting a lot of men? We are women, right? Or a lot of women when you're a man, or could be bisexual, but anyway, how fragile all of this is, how transitory. When we talk about self-worth, we are not talking really about how we are reflected in the mirror of other people's minds, but do we need to depend on that? One understands one's personal worth when one no longer identifies or defines oneself in terms of these transient things. I am not beautiful because everyone says I'm beautiful. I'm really neither beautiful nor ugly. These are things that come and go. I could be suddenly transformed into a very ugly creature. Could happen tomorrow. But is it still I? Then say, maybe I get plastic surgery and I become beautiful again. Does the I really become beautiful? You need to give a lot of time to reflect on these things. I've thrown them in you in rapid succession, but if you would take the time to understand what I have been saying, to dwell on it, you'll have a gold mine here. I know, because when I stumbled upon these things for the first time, what a treasure I discovered. Pleasant experiences make life delightful. It's a fact, right? Painful experiences lead to growth. Pleasant experiences make life delightful, but they do not lead to growth in themselves. What leads to growth is painful experiences. Suffering points up in an area where you have not yet grown, where you need to grow and be transformed and changed. If you knew how to use that suffering, oh, how you would grow. Let's limit ourselves for the time being to psychological suffering, to all those negative emotions we have. Don't waste your time on the single one of them. I've already told you what you could do with those emotions, yes? The disappointment you experience when things don't turn out the way you want them. Watch that. Look at what it says about you. I say this about condemnation, otherwise you're going to get caught up in self-hatred. Observe it as you would observe it in another person. Look at the disappointment, that depression you experience when you are criticized. What does it say about you? Have you heard about the fellow who said, "Who says that worry doesn't help?" It certainly does help, because every time I worry about something, it doesn't happen. I think that's so funny. Well, it certainly helped him. Or the other fellow who says, the neurotic is a person who worries about something that did not happen in the past. He's not like a normal people who worry about things that will not happen in the future. That's the issue. The worry, that anxiety, what does it say about you? Negative feelings, every negative feeling is useful for awareness and for understanding. They give you the opportunity to feel it, to watch it from the outside. In the beginning, the depression will still be there, but you will have cut your connection with it. Gradually, you will understand the depression. And as you understand it, it will occur less frequently and will disappear at some time altogether. Maybe, but by what time? Nobody can say that. And it won't really matter that much. And you have probably heard this because he mentioned this here. Before enlightenment, I used to be depressed. After enlightenment, I continue to be depressed. But gradually or rapidly or suddenly, you get the state of wakefulness. And this is the state where you drop desires. But remember that I mean by desire and cravings, I mean Unless I get what I desire, I refuse to be happy. I mean, cases where happiness depends on the fulfillment of your desire. Yes. Isn't that amazing when you can wake up to that and see what it does in your life? Because happiness, as I said earlier, is a state of, it's our most natural state. And when people say, yes, wow, look at me, I could be happy if, or I will be happy as soon as, or when this thing or the other thing happens, there is a chance for me to become happy. Even qualifying it, happiness is there. What do we have to do? We have to peel away. We have to remove all of the layers of illusions and false beliefs and limiting beliefs and all of the internal dialogues that we have so often, almost constantly. Hold on one moment. Yeah, you get a reality here with me. Eye surgery and COVID, and I'm here, and that's commitment. And commitment is something that is, nothing happens without commitment. First, clarity. Clarity and awareness, I would say, are pretty much the same thing. For me, in my teaching, it's the 7 C's, and it starts with clarity, and then courage, and then commitment, because nothing happens if you don't stay committed to seeing. Change cannot happen unless you're committed to change. And you need to be aware, and you need to know, have clarity about what is it, where are you, and where do you want to be. So you need your starting and your end point, the goal you have, and then all of the signposts in between to see how you're doing, to check yourself and how you're doing. And it takes courage. Life, every day you exude courage at just living, because you don't really know what's going to happen from moment to moment. Anything can happen. So you need courage, and you have that naturally, because we are naturally courageous. As I said, especially women, we have that fiery heart. Yes, we can fight for what we feel really passionate about. Of course, men can do that too, but I believe the power of the female heart is so strong. The heart is always more, and did you know that the heart has a much bigger, a much wider radiance and frequencies and power, electric power, than your brain? Yeah. Your heart knows right away. Your brain then gets the message from your heart and needs to then, has a choice to react on something, except when it comes to primal instincts. They are built in. If you are absent-minded and you step on into traffic, your body will just jump back in a flash. And you cannot think about it. The thinking comes, oh my God, afterwards, right? What just happened? Your heart and your nervous system are so connected. It knows it, and it does exactly what needs to be done. So that's the heart. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I'm not apologizing, but I say that it was a little bit of an effort. And I hope you got value from what I shared with you today about awareness from the book by Anthony de Mello. And we will be together again next. I honor you, and I really love for you too. And I honor you, and I love you that you spent your time with me. And until I see you again, yes, next Saturday. Bye-bye for now.